You're listening to Morning Lifestyle with Dave, and today older Australians are joining the fight against loneliness and social isolation. At the Monash University, they have a research area that is looking at social isolation and loneliness amongst peers, and joining us is Rosanne from the university. Rosanne, welcome along.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about some of this research that you're doing and some of the practicalities and ways in which it can help.
Well, we know that social isolation and loneliness can lead to ill health. And what we're doing is looking at practical solutions to prevent this from happening for older Australians, particularly people living in aged care homes or on home care packages. We're trying to recruit people to tell them about their experiences currently and how we can integrate more social activities for them.
Is this part of the key, the fact that we need to remain connected, whether in a retirement home or whether we're living at home on our own? We need to sort of be part of groups to make sure that we aren't feeling so isolated or lonely?
Yes, it is. And I think that's really important concept, that just because you have people around you, like in a nursing home, doesn't necessarily mean that you're connected. So what we're looking at here is improving really quality of relationships among older people and in society generally.
Now, this is a longitudinal survey, so I suppose you're looking at people as they progress through the process. How many people are you looking to get involved?
We don't have an upper limit, so the more the merrier. We are looking at a large group of people nationally, so all over Australia, and that way we get a really diverse sense of how people feel as they age, as well as what their experiences are. So it is very much the eligibility for our study is people aged over 65 who live in their own home, but on a government subsidised home care package, or are in a residential aged care facility that's government subsidised.
Now, it comes down also, I think, to the community looking out for these people too, isn't it? Checking on our neighbours, making sure if we have older family members and friends that we include them in our activities as much as possible.
Exactly right. And it's an unfortunate statistic that we know that families often visit less their relatives in aged care once they enter there, because they feel like they're being looked after. So it's a really sad thing that they have less contact, unfortunately, once people go to residential aged care. And of course that can happen for a multitude of reasons, but it does contribute to the fact that half of residents feel lonely most of the time.
I think part of that problem, particularly throughout the pandemic, was the fact that it was so difficult to get into a nursing home. I used to always say you could almost get into a secure facility a lot easier than it was to get into a nursing home by the time you filled out all the paperwork and did all the tests and produced all your paperwork as well. And that thankfully has started to change, and now there is the opportunity for people to probably get into nursing homes a little easier than they did during that period of time.
That's a really good point. It is a really tough time during COVID for a lot of communities, including the people in residential aged care. And I do think that we maybe have gotten out of the habits that we were in before with visiting. So it is a really great opportunity to rethink those if you're a family member. But the programs that I'm talking about are things that might be government subsidised around volunteers visiting people in these facilities and creating that connection that's not necessarily about family or immediate friends, but an external person.
The other thing that I instantly think of when I think of people in aged care facilities and younger people is that ABC series where they had young people and they hooked them up with somebody in the aged care facility. And while it took a little while for the relationships to build, by the end of the exercise, the kids still kept going to see the people that they'd sort of befriended in the home. And that sort of thing can be extrapolated beyond a television show as it is, but into real life.
Exactly. So creating connections through the programs available to visit people in residential aged care or other facilities is a really rewarding experience. And as you can see there, that nursing home for 3-year-olds, I believe is the program you're talking about. Not only did the children get a lot out of it, but the residents, I remember there was one particularly grumpy person. By the end of it, they really saw the benefit in having participated. So sometimes it's not just the people visiting that we need to change the mindsets of, but the people in the residential aged care facilities and in society, that they are able to benefit from these sorts of programs.
Okay, so for people aged 65 and over who are eligible for this particular research, Rosanne, how do they go about getting in contact with you?
Just give us a call. It's 0399052971, and I'll say it again in case you don't have a pen handy. It's 0399052971, or you can email us at acvvs.evaluation@monash.edu, which is a bit harder. So just give us a phone call.
Yep, that sounds like a great way for people to become involved in this study. And if we can eliminate loneliness for people of all ages, that would be a wonderful thing, but particularly for those who are in nursing homes and aged care facilities at the moment, as well as living on their home alone. I'd love to see that change, and there are ways to do that, and being part of this survey is one of them. Thank you very much, Rosanne, for your time on the program today.
Thank you for having me.